In our kind of core program, which we call EGL League, that's our gaming league. Kids earn points playing video games in like a live competitive format. It's done directly on our platform. The gaming is done on typical devices, so your console devices like Xboxes, PlayStations, Nintendos. But everything else is done on our platform. We have like a live broadcaster and everything too, so it's super fun for the kids.
Hello, welcome to EdTech Leaders. Today we have Alex Sabol, the CEO of Elite Gaming Live. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Tell us what the mission is of Elite Gaming Live.
Yeah. So our organization is all about preparing kids for a bright future. And specifically how we do that is we take the things they love, in the main case of what we do, video games, and we create really engaging educational experiences around those things that they love. So we have a gaming league and a software that allows for kids to learn about careers in gaming and tech and build their own games and design AI bots. So we've got a really cool kind of platform for that thousands of kids across the country are using right now.
Take us back to the beginnings. You started as just a kind of video game league, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I was a earlier contributor to the company, but I can't call myself the founder. His name's Kerwin Rent. He started this by like going around to schools. He actually started at B-dubs and had kids coming to B-dubs to play video games in this league that he would put on. And then he kept seeing that there were all these like middle schoolers and high schoolers that were coming to these leagues. And so he started going to the schools and said, hey, can I bring in some Xboxes and PlayStations and take them to your lunch period and let the kids play? And he got a lot of no's, as you can imagine. This was like over 10 years ago. So, as he kept coming, they started to say yes, and they started to see the engagement and the group of kids that were excited about this were a different group than normally would get excited here about it wasn't the sports kids, it wasn't the band kids, it was like this other group. And so the school started to really like this, but then they said to him early on, when I kind of got involved, they said, hey, how can we make this educational? It's great that the kids are having fun playing video games, but can we like add something so that we can convince parents this is okay? And that's where the educational side of our mission and our platform came from, was that that ask from the schools that said, hey, bring something in so I can feel good about this. And then that's really been a core tenet of what we've done ever since. It's everything we do has to be engaging and it has to be educational.
So how did that happen? What's the tech side? What does the app look like? The process of adding the educational component?
Yeah, so in our kind of core program, which we call EGL League, that's our gaming league. Kids earn points playing video games in like a live competitive format. It's done directly on our platform. The gaming is done on typical devices, so your console devices like Xboxes, PlayStations, Nintendos. But everything else is done on our platform. We have like a live broadcaster and everything too, so it's super fun for the kids. Like, yeah, they get jacked up about going to the EGL game day each week. So that's where they earn points playing video games, right? And all those points get them to our championship. But then naturally, a kid, has this cadence of game days. Maybe it's once a week, maybe it's once every other week, twice a week. But they're always like, hey, how can I earn points otherwise? Well, then we send them over to the learning side of our platform, where they go explore different pathways around careers in gaming and tech. So we introduce them to AI, cloud engineering, game programming, game design, audio engineering, across the board. We've got all these different pathways they can go explore.
Is it mostly informational about those careers? Do they do hands-on learning about programming or different, do they have technical lessons about these things as well?
Yeah, so we do have that, but for the league, it's mostly kind of high level, right? Like we're kind of interest based, trying to figure out what kids are interested in, and identify interests in different pathways. And so, we're introducing like, what is cloud engineering? Like, what does that actually mean? Oh, TikTok and like all these apps that you love, that's all built and possible because of cloud engineering. And here's why, right? So we kind of introduce the background of what is cloud engineering, what it takes to be a cloud engineer, the type of training you need, and whether you need to go to school or not, like all that stuff we go through on our platform. And then we also even talk about what you get paid, right? So, but for kids, I don't know if you have kids. My kids aren't old enough to do this, but kids I interact with, like if you say that someone makes $150,000, they're like, cool, but my favorite, YouTuber makes, $10 million or $50 million. So unless it ends in million, they don't really care. So we had to come up with a different way. I thought this was really kind of a unique thing. We had to come up with a different way to like explain salaries. So instead of saying just what the salary is and just leaving it at that, we say like, as a cloud engineer, you can make, $110,000 a year. That would allow you to buy an Xbox every
Mhm.
other day. And they're like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" Right? It's just like reframing it into their world versus our world. And so that's what our introductory stuff is, and that's what's in the league. And then we have an in-school curriculum that we actually released here over the last couple of years. That's awesome, and just added some really cool new things to it that allows for like a school to run an entire class on gaming and technology like careers. And we even train them. We have a training on how to build your own game in Python, and so they get a certification in Python. We also have an Rocket League building course, so they build a bot in Rocket League, and the bots can like play each other in Rocket League, which is, if you don't know what Rocket League is, it's basically soccer with flying cars and a
Okay.
ball. So I think it's the easiest way to describe it. So
Oh, that's cool. So they can
yeah,
compete um, in a different
exactly.
way. That's neat.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved?
Yeah, so I met the founder. I live in New York. He's from Indiana. I'm also from Indiana. We met at an event for my alma mater, Indiana University, had like a pitch event for companies to come out, and he came out and kind of shared about his company. And at the time, I was working in education. I worked for a kind of startup school called Avenues the World School, which is based in Chelsea, but I did all their international development in countries around the world. Like we worked in China and Sao Paulo, Brazil, and some other places. But anyway, so I was in this education space, and I thought, oh, this is really cool what he's doing. I get it. Like I get that, you know, kids would be excited about gaming, and to be able to play it like in their school as representative of their school. And this is a totally different population, for the most part, this population of kids that aren't getting anything usually from after school programs. They don't go to after school normally. They go and they go and then they go home, right? And they go play video games with their friends, right? So if we can keep them engaged in the school community more, or in a different way, there's great data that says that after school engagement leads to better performance in school, better attendance, better behavior, which we see that across the board with all our programs. So I met him. I was like, I get the thing. Let's see how we can work together, and we built a great relationship for 10 years.
Could you describe some of the maybe anecdotes of some of the kids, and not just sort of intellectually, but maybe emotionally, what it's meant to them?
Yeah, I have this one kid that really stands out. Um, and I'll tell you the end of the story is they didn't win anything. Okay. But I see this kid and I see his two adults that were with him. And I went up to them afterwards and talked to him. It was his mom had passed, and it was his aunt and his grandma. And they were there like screaming, like we had a tournament that we were running in Atlanta with the Atlanta Public Schools, because we work with all 51 of their elementary and middle schools. And so we're in Atlanta, we're at this big championship. He's competing in the championship, and it's first round, he's winning. and he wins the first round. And his mom and aunt go crazy. And so I like went up to him afterwards. I was like, tell me about what the story. They told me about his mom passing, and they also told me that he wasn't involved in anything else. Like this is the first time they've ever had to cheer for this kid that they love and adore, right? And so I just that alone was like, oh my gosh, look how powerful this is. Like you're giving an opportunity that these kids have never had, most of them, right? Because they didn't play basketball, they didn't play whatever, right? They didn't run track, they didn't compete in math club or whatever. This is their thing. Their thing is gaming, and now they have an avenue and a venue to be supported in that, and to be not just like told, "Hey, put the game down," but hey, I'm here to cheer you on in the thing you love. And I think that that's probably one of the memories that sticks out the most in terms of all the years that we've done this. And now there's hundreds of stories of improved grades and shifts in behavior, right? Like kids that were getting in trouble every single day, and now they've got something they love, and they have a purpose to be at school in the classroom doing their thing. But that one really stands out just because of he lost the next match, but they couldn't have been more
Yeah.
proud. They
Yeah, it
couldn't have been
sounds
more.
like you're really reaching the segment of the student population that isn't engaged in other things, and it's a way to engage them um, in ways they haven't. And they've been as often playing video games alone or virtually with the friends. I mean, there's a social aspect can be to games, but sometimes it can also be isolating, right?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, we see just the fact that they're there with a team and they're like shaking hands and like, high-fiving each other. There's something to be said about that in a world that's, changing very rapidly, which is something we're really focused on is that rapid change and how we evolve inside of that. But we're in a changing world. This is a generation that's not going to experience the same thing that the generations before experienced. It's going to be drastically different. And so what pieces that humanity and connection can we continue to maintain? And I think
Yeah.
that's really important.
And have you seen the spark of interest in the fields that they're getting exposed to?
Yeah. Actually, we had a really cool story. Saw one of our former players from probably almost 10 years ago came to one of our events and showed up and said, yeah, I used to play at this school that you guys were at, this middle school you guys were at in Indiana, and said, now I am a data scientist at EA Sports doing exactly what we want people to do, right? Like take their love of gaming, turn it into something fruitful that's going to better their future and give them real opportunities. And so, yeah, so we're seeing those outcomes start to hit, here over the next few years. But we're working actually to make that a more intentional piece of what we're doing. We just added a few partnerships. We have a partnership with Amazon AWS, where kids who go on our platform and learn about cloud engineering have an opportunity to then go on Amazon's platform and get certified as a junior cloud engineer. So there's a direct API connection, and with that, they can go get jobs. Like there's a job board. If they're 16 or older, they can get an internship. There's job boards they can apply for because of those certifications. We're looking to expand that with all of our pathways that we have. So both to expand the pathways, the number of options that kids can go explore, and then help them actually go all the way from interest, like not even knowing a career or something exists, to having a real opportunity
Yeah.
in the industry.
How many schools are you in right now?
Yeah, so we have served around 300 schools and districts and after school programs across the country. We've got you know t- we've served over 20,000 kids on the platform, and in 38 states, I think by last count. We just got one in like North Dakota. So that was number
Wow.
38, I believe.
And how have you been growing? At 38 states is pretty impressive. I mean, you have to deal with
Yeah.
politics of getting into school districts. How have you gone about that?
Most of it comes from people looking for something, right? Like I just met with a group today, a district today in California that said like, "Hey, we're looking to do this, and we want to get started, and they want to get started this month." This is the type of thing we're seeing. It's a lot of inbound interest in both gaming leagues and also the curriculum side. I think is the one we're really seeing kind of pick up. Is there's a real interest in career based gaming curriculum that people want to connect their kids to, and especially if they can have outcomes out of that, which is a big focus
Is
of
that
ours.
because it's reaching a population that hasn't been reached and the teachers are looking for an answer?
Yeah, well, so I'll give you a statistic on this that I thought was super interesting from one of our partners. So we work with boys and girls clubs across the country. They're a big partner of ours. We've had a number of conversations with their national team, who are really supporting these efforts, and their data said 10 years ago the number one requested activity at boys and girls clubs across the country was sports, right? Soccer, football, basketball, whatever. Today, the number one requested programming is gaming and esports. So it's like, yes, it's a population, but it's also, this huge, kind of interest that's being moved forward by the kids. The kids are requesting this stuff. And then the educators are trying to figure out how to do it and how to do it safely, how to do it privately, how to do it without like messing with their tech systems, which is all stuff that we kind of help them work around. Is yeah, we're and it's all because like look, 80% of kids play video games every single day. So this is, something that's ubiquitous with, this generation.
So the kids are many in after school programs. I'm guessing, right? The are
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's where they're
okay,
starting.
cool.
But we're finding the ones that are ahead, like that are kind of like leading the pack are now bringing it into the classroom and figuring out ways to bring it into the classroom and ways to tie it to educational, like real outcomes, STEM based and career based outcomes, which is what our in classroom curriculum is
Yeah.
really focused on.
So let's touch on marketing again. You said a lot of it's really organic. It's just inbound. It's just happening naturally. Are you doing other things to supplement that, to take advantage of that interest? Social media, emails,
Yeah.
calls, all the
I wish I was doing more. Is that
yeah.
a good answer? We're working on is what I would say. I mean, we do a lot of intent based, works, stuff around search and things like that, where people are looking for us or for programs like us. Uh, but I think where I see the future is, I mean, most of the conversations I get into are educational. And so what I'm trying to do is explain to people this is what gaming and esports is. Here's what it's about. Here's why we do it because here's all the benefits, and here's the problems we're trying to solve, right? Really, there are real problems that educators are facing, like engagement, which is a huge and growing issue, like just engagement in the classroom, like our kids sitting there engaging in the content that we want to deliver to them. And the answer in most cases and in like high school level and even middle school now is more than half of kids are not engaged. And so what can we do to like refresh what we're delivering so that it actually makes a difference with them? And then absenteeism and attendance are vitally important to, especially for public and charter schools. They're always looking at like how do we amp attendance, and so our program is proven. 60% of our programs or our customers say that we improve attendance. So we're seeing we're improving those outcomes. I think grades, right? They all these things that they want to improve. That's the first thing we try and kind of hit for them that we help in these areas. Yeah, it's an after school gaming league, but it's a
Hmm.
lot.
Are you able to measure? Are you beginning to find ways to measure the outcomes?
Yeah, yeah, we have some partners that have are doing that work and are building that data set alongside of us because in the end they hold the keys to a lot of that data, but we've got our own internal data that we're also collecting over years now of running, especially the since COVID is really when we shifted to software-based program, right? Before that, we actually had people going to every site, and we were regional. It was a very different model. But now, we're software-based. We train the teachers how to run the program themselves. So it's a more effective way to get this in front of more kids. But yeah, we're building that data
Hmm.
right now.
And the other, I know there are always issues, of course, in public school with budgets. And how is that going? Is there increasing awareness of those
Yeah.
budgets are being open, or are there budget cuts that are causing struggles?
Some here, some there. I would say we're in somewhat a unique space because there is funding moving towards, especially after school programming. Um, you know, California extended learning opportunity program, that's a big fund, a big set of funds that were pushed out through the state to support after school programming because they see the impact, right? They see that if I have after school programming in place and the kids that attend, I see improved grades, improved attendance, things that matter to those schools. So California is doing that. New York is just passed, I think, $100 million kind of budget initiative around the same thing, after school programming. So we're seeing there's some locations where there's a big push for this. Of course, there are other locations where we're finding, hey, we've got budget cuts, we can't continue programming. But I would say that's a smaller amount than the inbound and new and continued interest, than the budget issues. But, I think one of the things we're kind of looking at is how do we continue to expand the way we serve kids. So are there ways that we can go, directly to a kid or to homeschool, for example, are places that we're exploring and intending to grow because I mean, I'm sure you're host of this podcast. You probably know homeschool is the fastest growing area in K-12 education in the U.S. So we see a real opportunity to build something for that community. We get inbound interest literally every day from them. So so we want to create opportunities for them to participate, and then just we also get thousands of parents and kids that come to us and say, "Hey, can we sign up for your program?" And today the answer is no, no, we don't have an option for you. But we do intend to shift that too.
To
Give
to
them
add
give them
to
a real
some
option.
B2C options.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We see that as a really powerful pathway for us.
Cool. What's next? B2C and what else?
Yeah, I mean, I think that expansion. I think we widened our view of the way we can impact the space because I think what we realize we do really well is these engaging learning opportunities, and so we want to make more of those around what kids love. And kids don't just love video games; they love a lot of things. So I think we see that we could be that kind of larger pipeline, and pipeline to what? Well, to brighter futures and careers for kids. And that's really what we see. We want to continue to grow those connections to industry, like the Amazons of the world, but also to widen the communities that we're able to serve. So today it's gaming. I don't know what it'll be tomorrow. you know, maybe it's band, maybe it's basketball. We'll have to see. But I do think in the end, the world is changing really fast right now, and this generation, I think, needs to have the tools that are for the careers and opportunities of the future. And I think we're really well set up to help deliver those to the kids we serve.
Wonderful. If someone wants to learn about you, Elite Gaming Live, the website is
Yeah,
elitegaminglive.com.
that's it. It's easy peasy. Yeah, they can go to EliteGamingLIVE.com. They can follow us on socials, all Elite Gaming Live across the board. But I think if they want to learn about us, we've got some great information, and obviously on the website, and we have a page about getting started, and they can book a meeting directly with us, and we can share exactly how an organization would get up and going.
Do you have signs printed out, picket signs, so kids could picket their schools to get you in?
We do have so like I said, we literally get thousands of kids coming to our website and asking, hey, how can I get this started? So we have like a packet that they can deliver to their principal and like, give this to your principal, tell them about our program. And every once in a while we'll get a principal that will reach out because, the
Wow.
kids did the
You
effort. So,
you
yeah.
do. That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Yeah. What a pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for letting us share a little bit about who we are and the impact we're trying to have in the world.